Congressman, you talk about doing your part, sir. I think you talked about cutting a committee that you're trying to chair. Tell us about what that initiative is.
Well, it's Republican House Policy Committee. It was set up a long time ago. I think it's anachronistic at this point in time. We were charged by Leader Boehner earlier this year with the question, what would Republicans do differently if we were again entrusted with a majority? And I think it's a question that a lot of members have not looked deep into themselves to find out. Now, on my part, I believe we could responsibly wind down the committee. We fulfilled our mission, putting out our pamphlet on the 20-year generational challenges that are facing America. And with the support of Leader Boehner, I believe that we should end this. I think that it's just a step for Republicans to show that when we talk about cutting government, if we do not start with ourselves, where will we start?
We'll talk about it. How much would that save, sir?
It would save roughly $400,000 a year, but it's the symbolic nature of it that would also spur other members, including ranking members and others, to look into their own budgets to see where they can find savings, how we can streamline the Congress again, and how we as Republicans would not only address spending issues, but would address the dysfunction the House operates itself. Eric, the House has to become more committee-driven. The standing committees that already exist, members have to be more accountable to the work in those committees. They have to be more accountable to their constituents. What we've seen out of the House lately is that the leadership drafts a bill and legislators simply become voters. I would hope, and again, with the encouragement of Leader Boehner, that Republicans continue to try to find ways to get back to the type of Congress that the American people expect, and one that can garner their consent.
Representative, we're $13 trillion in debt, and I pointed out in that opening rant there that $862 billion of stimulus seemed to not have worked, considering the fact that 14.5 million Americans still remain out of work. Can we spend our way out of recession?
Oh, absolutely not, but we can spend our way through debts and deficits back into a deeper recession or into the situation of stagflation. Fundamentally, the Democrats' proposals will not work. They believe that the industrial welfare state model of big government can be perpetuated in the age of global competition. Nowhere has this succeeded. What we understand as Republicans is that our prosperity comes from the private sector, not the public sector. It comes from the industriousness and ingenuity of the American people. And what we need is for government to allow the American people to fix this economy, heal it, and get it back up on its feet again.
Well, Representative, let's talk about that for a second. Can the economy fix itself? Look what happened when the $75 billion that was spent on first-time home buyer credits, $8,000 per person if you bought a brand-new home for the first time. When that dried up, when that program stopped, housing sales plummeted 31% in the month of May. Does that surprise you?
No, people are very smart, Eric, and what we're seeing throughout the country, both from workers and on to investors and across the board, is they're very concerned about the decisions that this government is making that will make it harder for the economy to recover. When we talk about a $1 trillion government bubble that has been put in place, when we talk about the cap and tax proposal that's come out of the House that would devastate manufacturing, when we talk about the government takeover of health care, all of these are not only a question of regime certainty. What they're really a question of is that this government is going down the path of making poor decisions, and it's scaring people away from making investments, from having investors come forward and start investing in new businesses. What we need to have is a certainty that the government understands that its role is not going to be to inflate the economy further to the long-term detriment of the American people, but to instead free the American people to establish and build upon a sustainable basis which their own hard work has created.
There you go. We're going to have to leave it there. Representative McCotter, thank you very much for joining Money Rocks.
Thanks, Eric.